It's no big deal, but just a bald eagle hanging out, you know, 25 yards away from me on that fence post. Cool stuff. So here we go. We're about to take off. I'm about to take off. You don't get to capture many life-affirming, life-defining moments on film, but this is one of them. I'm about to head out on a trip that no one's ever done before, that I'm probably crazy for. One last thing before I do take off. I always throw a little sand or dirt on the board just to remind me that this ocean doesn't belong to me. Could be taken away from me at any time, and I respect that. So, see you on the other side.
Will Schmidt is on one heck of a journey.
Will Schmidt is getting ready to paddle down the entire west coast of the U.S. from Canada to Mexico.
I got to hang out with Will Schmidt a couple months ago and got to paddle around with him.
This former U.S. Marine is paddleboarding by himself, traveling more than 1,400 miles.
Traveling more than 1,000 miles with only his paddle.
For 2 months to get from Canada to Mexico. Why? Because no one else had done it.
Schmidt started his journey 48 days ago in Neon Bay, Washington, and has paddled 30 miles every day.
Number one story, the Will Schmidt story of paddling from Canada to Mexico unassisted.
All for a good cause.
Standing up for our men and women in uniform.
Now this trip may sound like a crazy idea, but Will's done things like this before.
Believe me, what that man did, that was huge. Been around the water all my life.
And he might just set a record or two.
What's keeping him going is knowing he's doing it for fellow Marines.
Fucking hat.
Dubstep sounds in the funk, to the dubstep sounds in the funk, to the dubstep sounds in the funk, mashing up the dubstep sound, to the dubstep sounds in the funk, to the dubstep sounds in the funk, mashing up the chain movement from Arctic, mashing up the
Alright, we made it on the plane. We are headed to Seattle, Washington, and I'll take a layover there for just one night before we drive up to Neon Bay. They actually allowed me to get 2 78-inch stand-up paddles on the plane, which is a first for them. So I just talked my way through it. So we made it to Seattle. Just gonna head out to a hotel tonight, and then I'll get picked up tomorrow. And I assume we'll make our way up to the bay. Well, this is the glamorous life of Will Schmidt. I am in fact sitting on the floor at the airport in Seattle and trying to Google a cab so I can get myself to a hotel and stay the night. See what you're missing. It's great. Might go have a taco. Alright, I'm gonna make this happen. This floor's cold. This is Brian. He's going to get my board. We're headed up to Neon Bay this morning to start the trip. Weather here in Seattle is beautiful. Perfect paddling weather. It's just like Southern California. You saw that smile on my face, right? That's the smile of a guy who's got absolutely no clue. No idea what he's gotten himself into. I think I mentioned trying this to a few people. Then, I felt obligated and I went for it. This, of course, is exactly how I do things. Our GPSs are fighting at the moment. I'm still lost. Come on, honey.
Continue on South Lincoln Street. Drive 5.5 miles on South Lincoln Street.
I'm confused. Oh, we're so confused. Recalculating. Welcome to the Strait of Juan de Fuca. We're gonna go logging. We've changed our mind. All right, so it's the, what is today?
Today is the
23rd, right?
23rd, yes.
Today is May 23rd, 2014. I'm here entering Macaw Indian Reservation. Tomorrow it looks like I will be heading out into the Strait of Juan de Fuca to begin my paddle from Canada to Mexico. I claim this tree in the name of Juan de Fuca. This is all my gear, my campsite, my tree. I'm probably going to be out tomorrow. This is all I got left. Me and my porta-john. Well, good morning. Today is May 24th. I'm walking over at McNeil Bay here. It's kind of chilly this morning. To what will probably be the last public restroom I'll see in a little bit. Just to get a change of clothes and hoping to head out on the water, at least to investigate today and see if I can make it up there without having a chase boat. That channel, you can't really see it because there's fog, but to Canada it's about 12 miles straight across that strait and outside the bay. So if I can make it out there about 6 miles through my GPS and then back up to the point and then Macaw Bay today and then down, that would be good. I made it out here. Now what? I'm in the water, and it's water that I'm not used to. Now I keep telling myself that it's the same ocean that I love, but up here, out here, it doesn't love me back. It's cold, and it's always cold, and it hurts on purpose. And every rock, every beach that I wash into is a challenge. And I trained for months, and the moment I'm completely saturated in this, it's about the time my fingernails start falling off, and my skin starts to burn, and my one saving grace, the water. The water pushes me forward, demands my respect, needs my attention, and if just for one moment I forget who's in charge, who's running this show, it reminds me, and it never does it gently. So I'm sitting at this beach and I'm using my Goal Zero solar panel to power up my Magellan GPS, while the Goal Zero Guide 10 that I've already charged is now charging my iPhone so I can possibly get service. But why would you want to? I mean, I guess someone's waiting to hear from me, since I haven't been in contact for about 5 days. I'm doing okay right here. A little sandy. I was really surprised about the dynamic of this trip, about everything I was doing, everything in general, really. It rained throughout the entire night, and it's still raining this morning, so I'm kind of miserable. All the gear that I had laid out to dry is soaked. Over here is where I'm sleeping tonight. See, it's really windy. I've got my guy line up there that's actually holding the ass of my tent up. So there you can see the board. hanging out down there. I looked marooned. It really didn't matter where I slept, just as long as I could. I had to actually make a bed tonight. This is all out of driftwood and logs and pieces that I found in the sea cave, and laid them all out with my sleeping pad, and that's what I'm gonna sleep on tonight. I don't mind camping out or sleeping in a cave, but this works too. In fact, I didn't want to camp out tonight, and she just gave me a $200 hotel room for free. I don't know what to say. I'm blown away. There's a toilet. It's great. Just off the steps from my site, this is where I get to spend my evening. There's my board and the tent and everything, and the little mountain stream here where I climbed up a little trail. I think it's more so an animal trail going down to where I came in, right to that little safe cove. It was at this point that I realized that I was on something much more important than simply a paddling adventure. Another 8 or 10 miles down the coastline here. Make it a good 30-mile day. Call it early. It's just after 1. I figure by 3 or 4 I should be done with the day, which is good because you see the wind starting to pick up, and last thing I want is just to be in the middle of all this slop and choppiness when it starts to really feather out. So it's got a little big for me, so I called them, let them pull me in here to Woodland Bay and stay the night, and then decide what I'm going to do tomorrow. So you're just waiting for the 47 quarter to show up. Cool. What's your name? Daryl. Daryl. Daryl saved my life today.
Hey, do you have any flares?
Any flares?
Yeah, I'd recommend getting some flares because
yeah.
Launch it right away.
Okay.
Get like a little defensive flare launch or something like that.
Yeah. You see, my goal was to take the inside of Willapa Bay down to Columbia River and then take a taxi or something over it.
Yeah.
For the calmest rescue you've had for a while, huh?
Yeah. This is our second time at Willapa Bay today.
Really?
Yeah, there was a boat that overturned.
Oh, wow.
With the kids and the baby.
Oh, wow. Well, I've got my wetsuit on. This thing's doing pretty good, but I started getting worn out, and over there was too much, and I couldn't stand up and downwind it anymore, so I was dead in the water pretty much.
Standing up.
Oh yeah, stand-up paddleboard. I'm here on the Coast Guard cutter. They cannot take care of me done eating food. Got a little puppy for my taste, so I'm hauling it back to Grace Harbor for the night. So I'll get a taxi or something, get me back out to... You're going to be there for a couple of... Sorry, I didn't realize you were... Get myself back out to Willapa Bay and figure it out from there. Alright. Hey guys! Thanks for coming to the rescue! Witnessed the tail end of the scariest moment of my life. I didn't think I was going to make it today.
Some of the hardest decisions I had to make came in the most stressful situations. So, save myself or turn on a camera and try to document it first. Anyone who knows me is pretty sure to believe that the camera won most of the time. I don't ever regret making sure to start filming, no matter how much I knew I was most likely going to instantly have to pay for it.
I looked unassuming enough. Get my peanut butter back. Always latch everything down or you lose your fucking peanut butter. Here and say I just want one day that I don't crash and burn on a damn beach. It's either I'm dry in the morning, wet at night, or wet in the morning, dry at night. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm here just north of Heceta Head Lighthouse around the corner. Keep pointing like you're gonna see it. Anyway, I overshot where I wanted to go about a quarter mile. See here in the storm of where you can see my tracks leading the way towards the entrance to the state park where I can camp. However, it got a little crazy and I had to cut to get in because of the riptide. Made it in here, drug the board up, and I'm gonna have to just drag it from here, I guess. I mean, I guess I have to. But I think it's a good 34 miles today. It just blew me the whole way. I think I was out there 8 hours. I just let it take me. So it's getting better and better. It's just I need to get out there earlier because I'm getting blown away by the time I got 6:30. But by the time 3 o'clock hits, so start dragging. Look at that, kids. That's the real stuff. I'm at Cape Blanco. Finally made it out of Bandon. That was intense. Cut it right through the double rock there from the east side of the double rock, and the Cape's right around the corner. I'd cut that in. There's a huge break right around the rock and a huge break just to the north. And I pulled it right in this little cove. Up here in the hill a bit. That's where I'm going to camp tonight. Intense is the only word I have for that. Little badass.
Every day is an adventure. Once I make it to shore, it's not over for me. There's a few things I just can't forget to do. Things that most of you take for granted, like checking your tide chart to make sure you don't drown in your sleep. No big deal, just don't forget. There are so many faces behind the scenes, and two of my favorite happen to be my mother and my 90-year-old grandmother, who got in their car and drove across the country just to be there for me for the last few weeks and to follow me along, and especially through times when I really needed somebody.
This is day 50 of Will's world record attempt, and while he's out on the water by himself, he does have a support team of one following him around.
Makes my stomach hurt every time I wait for him and he doesn't show up when he's supposed to, and I keep waiting, and finally the binoculars, I see him and it's like, okay, he's coming down the last stretch.
He has an escort out here on the kayak, or lay down paddleboard. Porn prone?
Yes, he's on the porn paddleboard.
He's on the porn paddleboard.
That's where I'm going. I'm going to ride the porn paddleboard.
Come on, either way, get out there. He's waiting.
I was so far up there, you can't even see where I was talking about. It's one of those days you know you're gonna get body slammed, and you just pick the one that's gonna hurt the least. It's scary because this whole place, you can tell it's a shore break. So right when I got to the end here, the bottom dropped out.
Told you it was nasty.
I came all the way back off that board, held on to it, let it roll over me, and then just pulled myself up on the beach. But I got a few bombs today.
Yeah.
This man is a must-read man. thief from robbing your town. Stands for the abandoned fans. Mike stands for the candy cams. I land on the planet's hands. I am the examined man. I bring what I need is plan. No seeds in a pen that jams. I be what they said I can't. Then I leave and they just say, damn. This man is a must right now. My future's only really looking up right now. Probably why these niggas look stuck right now. I can feel it in my heart and in my gut right now. I don't feel a need to stop and slow down. Calling me a thief from robbing your town. Taking every piece apart from your sound. They got enough of me, enough to go round. Get flow, get dealing with all the dealing with all the get flow, get flow, get all the niggas, all the what they were giving me. Get for the century, get a core, they mention me doing it, get doing it, saying I could do it all. They only want to see me fall. Yeah.
We're at the Hood Canal floating bridge on your left and right.
Macaw Indian Reservation. There is Canada. Ruby Beach, Destruction Island, Pacific Beach, Long Beach, Columbia River, Peacock Spit, Cape Disappointment, Tillamook Island, Smuggler's Cove, Cape Mears, Cape Towanda, Cascade Head, City, Depot Bay, Bikini Bay, Casita Head, Cape Perico, Abandoned, Cape Blanco. What my first day in California looks like. Port Brookings, Redwood State Park, Columbia River, Monterey Bay, Cape Trinidad, South San Francisco, something like that. Shelter Cove. The end of the world. Strait of Juan de Fuca. Tatoosh Island, James Island right there. Fukushima, Point Arena, Timber Cove, Bodega Bay, Point Reyes, Wallace Bay. Cleanest Bay, Crisis Nice, Point Concepcion, Santa Cruz Island, Louis Point Waimea, Mount Rancho Palos Verdes, Santa Monica, Redondo del Rey, Point Loma,
Calling me a thief from robbing your town.
Just stop here to take a break. So I'm going to point a couple things out. I just left way back in the distance, kind of where the boom is pointing here. That's where I left off today from Port Orford. Some rocks and things in the distance. But if you look out past me, that head up there is where I thought around there Gold Beach and Hunter Cove was, where I was supposed to be today. Come to find out, I sat down here to take a little break, and actually, that's Gold Beach right there, Rogue River, and Hunter Cove right there. That means I just did 30 miles in 4.5 hours. It doesn't seem like much, but considering I'm carrying 50 pounds of gear, wet gear, myself, and I have an incoming tide that's coming in here to the Rogue River, but you can see blue water, clean water, brown water, that's the sandbar that's starting to pull me into the Rogue, that kind of brownish area to the tip of the paddle right here is the Rogue River Jetty. So I'm going to steer about 20 degrees south of that, and that's going to take me right here to Hunter Cove and Little Hunter Island. So around the corner there will take me to Port Brookings and California tomorrow.
The ocean likes to keep me balanced. If I had an easy day, it was usually followed by an equal, if not more, difficult day.
I think it's a little unsafe to be paddling today, so I'm gonna go back in, I guess, and just hang out. Stees are getting steep. It's about 7 to 10 feet out there and getting real steep. You can see how these lines are coming up here and almost facing diagonal at me. So I'm gonna call it a day. It was a short day, but oh well. I did a long day yesterday.
So I mean, not every day was easy. You know, not every day was difficult, but I think each day was ultimately challenging.
They're about to pop up again in a second. Wow. rails underneath me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I wanted to stop and point this out. See how, well, I mean, for what it is, fairly calm out here. Turn around, it's just a shitstorm over here. This is a river mouth, just where the river and the ocean meet together. It just makes all this really confused water. So I got far enough out that it's really not messing with me at the moment. But I mean, from the other side, you could just see it was just shredding everything up. I've been calling it confused water, but it's nothing to take lightly. It'll pull you right in. The Lost Coast is a loose term for the King Range Conservation Area. This is a stretch of land and coastline that extends from Cape Mendocino in Northern California to the city of Fort Bragg, California. There's my morning paddle out. That sucked. I dared not put the camera on. Headed out of there. So I'm out now past the rocks. That's really what I was trying to get out away from, is the rocks where it's all breaking. And then it's not too bad once you get out there. It's just a matter of getting past all the rocks and the chop. So headed down. Well, haven't decided. It's lonely, it's foggy, it's miserable. Supposed to be a small craft advisory, but I'm hoping that it just means this nice, fresh, long rolling swell is the advisory, because this is awesome. It's really windy. Oh, look at that. Whew. It must have taken me at least 3 days and a wake up to push through the most miserable, grueling, unforgiving coastline that I think exists, that I've ever had the displeasure of paddling. Fully loaded with gear, it's crazy. As you can see, I've pulled the board up here. I've only done about 13 miles in a little under 2 hours. little over 2 hours. But it all of a sudden got really dangerous out there. And when I say dangerous, I mean dangerous for a person and a fully loaded board by themselves. See my little trailer, I drug it up the up the shore. Man, so it blew me away today. I was having fun, and I was not having fun. Okay. She's hanging in there, buddy. Man, oh man. Just when I thought King Range was done playing games, you can barely see the ridge line there. I'm headed, just about 1 or 2 o'clock of the direction of the board right now, but I'm surrounded in fog.
Basically, whatever you could have against you was against you.
There's a reason this is called the Lost Coast. That's because you wouldn't lose it and not remember it was ever here. I mean, I just paddled, it's going to be 10 hours today just to get myself out of this place. People have no business being here.
Just once, and maybe for about 10 minutes, the fog cleared up, and I had this view of just the most spectacular coastline you could see. Just as I was about to start enjoying it, the fog rolled back in, and I was in basically the same situation I was in moments earlier.
This is about as real as it gets. I'm surrounded by fog. I'm using just that coastline and the sound of those waves. There's no satellite signal, GPS, nothing like that. I'm using my just raw survival skills to navigate through this. So, you want a moment, this is a moment. So I'm here in Uinta Bay. These two fine gentlemen offered me a lift because it's like 40 knots coming in here. So, we're riding on in under the bridge. What's your name? Russ, come on. All right. Glad to have you aboard. Thank you, sir. They're out checking some crab pots, and now I'm hitching a ride, so the journey never ends.
I get asked a lot how I handled being alone. And, honestly, there were plenty of people to talk to who wanted to take an active role.
We're here today at Lincoln City. I had to come in through the surf, almost hit a few rocks because of, it got a little windy out there. It was fun while it lasted, but met these two lovebirds along the way. They paid for just about all of my hotel room just on a whim, so kudos to them. They're sharing the stoke. I'm gonna go up. I just got me a coffee, get my stuff up there, and get another warm bed tonight till I head down south here to Depot Bay.
There is always going to be that person that I can't win over no matter what.
Hey!
He has to come in here.
Well, he's got to go in down there. He's got to be 200 yards away from
He can't. He just came from Canada. He's
care
doing
where
a...
he came from. I don't want him hitting somebody. Hey! You got
gotta go down there and dock it, not here. There's people here.
I don't think he can hear you. He's just, the last lifeguards let him come in.
Selfish and saying, let's
No,
meet
he can't
somebody,
hear
that's
you.
all.
The last lifeguards let him come in and he's not hearing you.
He's not here.
The reaction's been great. I mean, most people, they first look at me and they say, are you crazy? What are you doing? And when I tell them, they say, oh my God, that is amazing. And I've met so many people, I've taken so many photos. I just think it's hilarious. What did you think when you came across this weird dude in the middle of nowhere?
I gotta help this guy, man. He's straight down the middle of the ocean. Why is there a stand-up paddle board around here? I couldn't believe it. That's who we are.
Crazier things have happened. What did you think when I pulled up to you?
Crazy, man.
So someone was talking about me on the radio today too?
Yeah, some motivation.
Coast Guard came out to meet me at Depot Bay today. Hey guys! These two fine rangers, can I say rangers? Is that what we would call you? Are taking care of me and let me have a free campsite tonight.
Make no mistake, we are bound by water. Despite the occasional lifeguard having a bad day, most people were stoked to meet us and hear me talk about my adventure, no matter how far-fetched it sounded. I even got an email from a guy who stood on a river jetty and watched me cross the sandbar through an 8-foot small craft advisory. He said he's lived by the water his entire life, and he's never seen anyone try that. I wrote him back and asked him for a photo.
Where are we today? Oceanside, Oregon? California! Oh! Who do I have the pleasure of hanging out with today? Subjects. It's a mafia. It's a movement, really. Gonna have a good one. It's 7:15. These girls need to get out because it is gale force 1 knot winds out today. So we're gonna, but before they blow away, we're gonna get out here on the water.
Well, that is pretty quick.
Didn't you knock anybody off?
Work it, buddy.
He'll go show off and fall on
Yeah,
it.
right.
You're unbelievable!
50 miles in.
Unbelievable!
Man, you were making smoking time. It's great out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Will Schmidt coming in all the way from Canada on the stand-up paddleboard. Right now, the lifeguard tower. Use awareness for women warriors.
Thanks, girls! Hey! Yes! They announced you and you got 50 ovations. Oh. He has one more day. Mexico tomorrow. He and the board have been through you know what.
That's amazing.
from the Canadian border with the international
Where are we
border
today?
stand.
So my name is Will Schmidt. I started 57 days ago at the Canadian-U.S. border in the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and I have paddled consecutively with only 3 days in between, taking off to get here today. Tomorrow will be my last day, easy 25-miler to Motorfield State Park and the eventual end of the first in history stand-up paddle, solo and unassisted, from Canada to Mexico. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and a survivor of debilitating anxiety and depression. I paddle to raise awareness and fund to aid military service members that deal with the same thing. I was on the water for 10 hours today. Statistics show that we lose 1 U.S. service member every 80 minutes from a suicide. By the time I finished paddling today, we lost, 6 or 7 U.S. service members to suicide. This is the message I have. This is what I want to get across. I just want everyone to be inspired. So, are you inspired yet? Hey! All right.
So I think we see you.
Okay, well, I'm headed that way.
All right, we're here waiting.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
All right, honey, bye.
Bye.
I can remember the last day just like it was yesterday. What I was thinking, what I was feeling. I'd come so far for so long that when I really thought about it, I didn't want it to end. I didn't want it to be over. Pulled up on shore and Border Patrol was out there to greet me, and he asked me, he says, aren't you so glad to be done? And I looked down the beach about 100 yards and I said, well, we're not done yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, 58 days of fame, first stand-up paddle from Canada to Mexico.
Not all my rides were smooth. Not all my days were fun-filled. Not all my days were miserable, though. Fuck off!
I don't complain. I usually don't complain, but there's nothing more miserable in the world than putting on cold, wetsuit attire. Absolutely hate it. I don't mind getting wet. I just want to put on dry clothes and then get wet. I'm gonna cry.
I should have got you earlier.
What was the hardest part of your trip?
This right now.
Did you ever want to give up?
Right now.
Did you meet any interesting people along the way?
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Do you want me to stop for a second?
No, keep going.
Okay. Because it's hard when you walk away, then I have nothing to talk to.
Just keep on, just getting glare off your face.
I forgot what I was gonna f***ing say. You're still filming?
Check it out. Blame it on the rain that was falling, falling. Blame it on the stars, wouldn't shine that night. This is how we stay sane, guys. On something, blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. Helps well. Oh, girl. Talking about. I've had an amazing day. 33 miles, it's still light outside. Could have been done early. But no. I ask a nice fisherman, which bay is Albion Bay? He tells me this one. This is not Albion Bay. I just came from the ocean and through a barbed wire fence. With that,